In the annals of criminal history, few tales are as riveting and audacious as that of Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán. From his daring escapes to his larger-than-life persona, El Chapo's story reads like a Hollywood blockbuster. In this gripping narrative, we'll delve into the intricacies of his most audacious escape, a feat that left law enforcement baffled and the world captivated. Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán is a notorious Mexican drug lord who gained infamy as the leader of the Sinaloa Cartel, one of the most potent and dangerous drug trafficking organizations in the world. Born in 1957 in Tuna, Mexico, El Chapo rose through the ranks of the criminal underworld to become a formidable figure known for his cunning, ruthlessness, and ability to evade capture. Throughout his criminal career, El Chapo orchestrated massive drug operations, smuggling vast quantities of narcotics, primarily cocaine, into the United States. He was involved in violent conflicts with rival cartels, leading to a wave of bloodshed in Mexico. El Chapo's ability to escape from high-security prisons became legend. He executed 4 audacious jailbreaks, showcasing resourcefulness and audacity that astonished law enforcement and the public. El Chapo's first daring escape took place on January 19, 2001, while he was imprisoned at the Puente Grande Maximum Security Prison in Jalisco, Mexico. Collaborating with corrupt prison officials, he orchestrated an intricate plan. Despite being incarcerated in Mexico, Guzmán faced U.S. charges for money laundering and importing large quantities of cocaine into California, along with his attorney, Humberto Loya Castro, also known as Lawyer Perez. This lawyer was accused of bribing Mexican officials on behalf of Sinaloa and ensuring the release of any cartel members arrested. When the Supreme Court of Mexico eased extradition between the two countries, Guzmán exploited this situation by bribing guards to facilitate his escape. On the fateful day, Francisco El Chito Camberos Rivera, a prison guard, unlocked Guzmán's electronically controlled cell door. Guzmán then concealed himself in a laundry cart pushed by maintenance worker Javier Camberos, who maneuvered through multiple doors and finally out the prison's front entrance. Subsequently, Guzmán was transported out of town in the trunk of a car driven by Camberos. At a gas station stop, while Camberos went inside, Guzmán vanished into the night on foot. Reports suggest that 78 individuals were involved in his escape plan, with Camberos imprisoned for his role. Authorities claimed that Guzmán had meticulously orchestrated his escape, influencing nearly everyone within the prison, including the director, who is now incarcerated for aiding his breakout. A prison guard who had initially come forward to report the corrupt conditions mysteriously disappeared 7 years later, presumed to have been killed at Guzmán's behest. Guzmán allegedly maintained control by having prison guards on his payroll, smuggling contraband, and receiving preferential treatment from staff. Apart from the prison employees involved, Jalisco police were allegedly bribed to ensure a 24-hour window for Guzmán to leave the state and evade the military pursuit. The guards who were bribed not to inspect the laundry cart were told that Guzmán was smuggling gold extracted from rocks in the inmate workshop, with the escape reportedly costing him $2 million. During those 13 years on the run, El Chapo established himself as one of the most notorious and influential figures in the global drug trade. Operating between Mexico and various international territories, he evaded capture through sophisticated evasion tactics, extensive networks, and deep-seated corruption. El Chapo's ability to avoid law enforcement during this period enhanced his legend. He became a symbol of defiance against authority, and his exploits continued to capture the public's imagination. However, this chapter of his life eventually came to an end. In 2014, Mexican authorities finally managed to track and apprehend him with assistance from U.S. agencies. This led to his imprisonment in the ultra-secure Altiplano prison, considered impenetrable. Yet, El Chapo's insatiable desire for freedom and his cunning intellect were not to be underestimated. He began crafting yet another audacious escape plan from behind bars, determined to evade justice again. The details of his second escape are astounding and shed light on the lengths he and his associates were willing to go to secure his freedom. Despite the prison's reputation for being virtually impenetrable, El Chapo and his associates managed to construct a tunnel stretching over a kilometer in length. This tunnel was a marvel of underground engineering, complete with ventilation, lighting, and a rail system to transport materials. The planning and precision involved were extraordinary, requiring immense manpower and resources. A GPS device was smuggled into the prison to ensure the tunnel led directly to El Chapo's cell, allowing his associates to pinpoint the precise location. With this information, the tunnel was meticulously directed towards the small space in his cell behind the shower wall. On the night of the escape, as El Chapo watched a comedy series to mask the sounds of digging, his associates worked tirelessly to break through the final barrier. At 8:10 p.m., he made his move. El Chapo entered the tunnel, descended a ladder, and traveled through the underground passageway. Emerging on the other side, he was met by a waiting motorcycle-modified cart, which he rode to a nearby building. From there, he transferred to a waiting vehicle, driving for approximately 2 hours until reaching a remote town named San Juan. From San Juan, he boarded a private jet piloted by a trusted associate. El Chapo had once again outsmarted the authorities, leaving them in disbelief. The aftermath of this escape triggered a massive manhunt, with Mexican and American authorities cooperating to track him down. His capture marked the end of his second stint of freedom and paved the way for his eventual extradition to the United States. El Chapo's third capture came after a months-long operation led by Mexican Marines. Intelligence gathered indicated suspicious activity at a safe house in Los Mochis, prompting authorities to monitor the location closely. Eavesdropping on communications, they picked up on a unique code name that El Chapo's associates used, referring to an individual as Grandma. The frequency and urgency of these communications led them to suspect that El Chapo might be nearby. On January 8, 2016, a convoy of 3 vehicles arrived at the house. Recognizing the signs of a high-profile individual, authorities quickly moved in to surround the location. A fierce firefight ensued between El Chapo's heavily armed associates and the Mexican Marines. Amid the chaos, El Chapo managed to slip away yet again. He found an escape route through an underground tunnel hidden beneath a mirror, mirroring his previous audacious escape. His flight, however, was short-lived. Mexican authorities rapidly mobilized and tracked him down within a short period. 4 federal police officers apprehended him about 20 kilometers from the safe house. El Chapo tried to bribe the officers in a desperate attempt to secure his freedom, but they remained resolute in their duty. With his capture, he was once again in the custody of the Mexican authorities, facing an uncertain legal future. As officers secured the scene, they discovered a wealth of intelligence, including weaponry, communication devices, and documents that provided valuable insights into El Chapo's operations. This audacious escape marked the 4th time El Chapo had slipped away from the confines of a high-security prison, solidifying his reputation as a criminal mastermind without equal. However, their escape was short-lived. They stole a car and attempted to flee but were intercepted at a police checkpoint. When confronted by federal police officers, El Chapo tried to bribe them, but these officers were not corrupt. As a result, El Chapo's options began to dwindle. El Chapo's phone was instrumental in his capture. Authorities could track his location by hacking into the mobile phones used by him and his associates. This advanced surveillance technology allowed them to monitor his movements and ultimately led them to the safe house in Los Mochis. This successful operation marked the end of El Chapo's reign as one of history's most notorious drug lords. He was extradited to the United States, where he faced numerous charges related to drug trafficking, money laundering, and organized crime. El Chapo's capture and extradition were significant victories in the ongoing battle against international drug cartels. El Chapo now resides in the notorious ADX Supermax prison in Colorado, a far cry from the power and influence he once commanded. It's a testament to law enforcement's persistence and justice's resilience.